Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing great. My name is Extell and this is
Benjamina.
Here is my only sister, and today's just joining me because we're going to chat a little bit about things that pertain to life. A lot of the inspiration that I get and the wisdom that I share on most topics are on things that I get to talk to her about. So today we are going to talk about a couple of those, and we'll see where that goes. Well, let people know.
My name is Benjamina.
Tell me, what do you want us to talk about?
It's just something that's been on my mind, the role of your friends. Because this is me. First of all, I think I have a good circle of friends. I actually think if that's one thing God has blessed me with is my circle of friends. So I don't know. I think when it comes to my relationship, I am open letting them in. I mean, to an extent, especially when it's the beginning stages, just so I'm not sure about my sense of judgment at that time. I'm like, okay.
So you're allowing your friends to decide for you because you trust your friends that much, and you're saying, well, at the beginning of a relationship, I can tell them, what I am facing, the guy that's talking to me, and allow them who know me to be able to tell me, yeah, it's a good guy, or no, it's not a good guy for you. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, that's I think that's way too much. That's more validation. What I'm thinking is, for example, if I just see this guy and the guy's talking to me, I'm not gonna hide it. Maybe like, okay, I'm just gonna wait when I'm getting married. I'm just gonna tell my friends, oh guys, I'm getting married. No, I don't believe in that, because I feel that sometimes, especially if you have good friends, you're not telling them everything, but I think they're able to see maybe what you don't see. I don't know. But I just feel that, being secretive, so being so secretive when it concerns your relationship does not help.
Hmm. I mean, I look at it, and there are different angles to it, right? Like, first and foremost, as girls, we talk.
Mm.
That's the nature of how we are as women. We get excited about certain things, and then we want to share it with those that are close to us. Now, if a person is not sharing, there's an issue of trust. That's the first thing. Because if there is no issue of trust, just think about, like, with your sister. Like, just think about with me. If you get into a relationship, why won't you tell me? Because
True.
you know that I have your best interest at heart. There's no way I'll be telling you, don't date that guy, if I know that the guy is good for you.
True.
I'm only going to be telling you, and you trust my judgment about that. Now, when it comes to friends, you have just one sister, and even if you had 5 sisters, you have sampled it over the years that those 5 sisters mean the best for you. Now, when you have 5 friends, right, it's almost like, and for me, this is what I would do, right? When you have that many people, I'm telling them about what I have found or what's happening to me. But ultimately, I know that people would give an opinion based on their own experiences. So you can have a friend who is well meaning but who has been hurt by men.
True.
You never expect that she's going to be so excited. If anything, she's going to be the person that would say, have you checked this? Have you checked that? Have you checked that? Who did he date? All of that. Yes, because of what she has been through. If you have another friend who is so naive, she will already start telling you, oh, well, Benja, we're planning a wedding. You've just told her that you found a guy. You understand? So that's the thing, right? Because you have this friend who is naive to a certain extent. She's not asking you, she's not sounding whatever you're telling her on a basis of reason. She's already naming your children. She's already saying she's going to be the chief bridesmaid. Whether we like it or not, it kind of has an effect on how you process that relationship.
True.
because somebody has already just through their own experience sown seeds in your heart that would otherwise not have been, and allowed you to look at that relationship face value. But the moment your friend is excited, oh my God, Benjamin, oh, we're planning a wedding, you're looking at that guy like, okay, potential. Let me make sure everything, yes, let me make sure everything is where it's supposed to be so we can get to that finish line of marriage.
True.
Before you know it, you're excusing a lot of his behavior because what? You have fed off of the energy from your friend that he be marriage material. And you are just, your goal at that point is not to see whether he is good for you. You're trying to get it to a point where she becomes that chief bridesmaid that she told you about.
True.
So that's the thing about sharing your relationships with your friends. There's never, to me, I don't think that you shouldn't, but you always have to know that your friends and your sisters, because let's not make a distinction.
Right.
Your friend, your sister, people process information based on their own experience. And you need some time to be able to determine, is this a serious thing, or is this one of those things where it's going somewhere? Or you should be able to have that fortitude in your mind where whatever your friend or your sister say does not have an impact on what the journey would have been, irrespective of if you told them or not. Now, if you know that you're easily influenced by the comments made by the people around you, it would be safe to say, wait it out and see if this relationship is even going anywhere. See if it's even worth talking about before you blurt it out. Do your own due diligence before you're out there saying, hey, the truth is, once a girl becomes of a certain age and you tell your friends that you're talking to somebody, they want it to be good and true, best intentions, but sometimes our best intentions don't create the reality that we hope for it.
True.
So, they want it to move to that point, but maybe not. But you have to be able to separate it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
You have to be separate. Like if a guy comes up to you right now, your friends are your friends. And friendship to me should never be hung on how much you tell and when you tell.
True.
I think it's an immature thing for a friend to mandate that you tell them everything at the time that it happens. We should be able to trust each other, that I would tell you when I believe it's good time for me to tell you. Just because I didn't tell you when it happened does not mean that you're less of a friend to me. Right? There are many reasons why I wouldn't tell you something immediately, but don't judge our friendship based on that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I think everybody individual, know that people will give you advice based on their own experience. You have your own unique experiences. You know what you want. So before you are saying anything to anybody, be ready for their opinion and to sound it on the basis of what you know is good for you, is truth for you, and you can decide, okay, I'll take this, I'll leave this, or I can tell that my friend who is excited already, in good faith, this is not the time for you to be talking about, let's name the kids. I just got to know this guy. Like, be slow. Don't say things like it's just setting me up,
Right.
to be direct like that.
Right. This is so true because I remember my friend, because my friend is married and I think she got married August 1st. And I remember a couple of years back, we're talking about her current husband, who is our pastor. And because they had a good working relationship, she was the admin of the group and he's the pastor of the group. They had a good working relationship. And I'll say things like, you guys can get married. And then she'll say things like, Benji, please don't put ideas into my head. And just hearing what you're saying, that is so true. She kept saying, please don't put ideas into my head. What if I develop feelings for him? Because you're talking and he has no feelings for me. What do I do with these feelings that you made me have because of what you told me. So please don't put ideas into my head. So it just kind of goes with what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know.
And we women, we tend to dream a lot faster than men do. You know, like you see a good guy, right? Face value good. You don't really know what his background is, but you're already thinking, we're gonna have 3 children, we're gonna build a house. Whether we like it or not, those thoughts kind of put us in a position where we're blinded to some of the things that we need to see from the onset. So it's usually recommended that you meet a guy and be friends with him, so you get to really know who this person is. Because when there are butterflies in your belly, and when people are throwing all the slangs and comments, whether we like it or not, then we're building a dream by ourselves. And maybe the guy's not even alongside with that dream. The guy's looked at you like somebody who is just there for a season, and you're looking at him like someone who's there for a lifetime. And before you know it, you're caught up in this whole trap of, a broken heart and, all not. But hey, how careful can we be?
Talk about the rule of most times your friends will talk to you, oh Benjamin, I'm going through this. But then you also don't want to talk too much, because you're like, oh, maybe you're thinking maybe they would say I'm not married, that's why I don't understand. But you're seeing things that are clear. It is so clear that this marriage is a time bomb about to explode. But then you cannot say much, because and you're caught in between. How, for me, it's I don't know about you, but for me, I've always found myself in that situation where I was caught up between a friend and their relationship and having to intervene in stuff. And it's always been that hard time for me, because
people will listen to who they want to listen to.
True.
People will listen to whom they want to listen to, whether or not the person has the same marital status with them or not. A lot of people have wisdom in certain areas that they themselves have not yet experienced. You have a woman who has knowledge and wisdom around raising children, but does not have children herself. But for the fear of people saying, oh, you don't have children, you will not understand, But see, if a person brings their issue to you, knowing full well and square that you're not married, and they ask you for their opinion, then they are ready to hear whatever you have to say, right? But this is my approach. Having said all of that, allow people to experience certain things, because at the end of the day, experience still remains the best teacher. Like, you could literally tell someone, if you walk 10 feet from here, there is a ditch, you will fall into it, you will hurt yourself, turn back right now and avoid the fall. And they'll still look at you and say, you've never been on this road before. How dare you tell me what you've never experienced? And walk that same way and land in the ditch and fall, wound themselves, and have fatal.
But then there are some consequences that are not teaching experiences. To just what I mean is, there is no avenue for teaching. For example, there are some consequences that are grave, fatal, where you don't get an opportunity to be taught or learn. And so in that case, especially when you're being advised, especially because I'm talking about relationships here, when things can cost your marriage and stuff like that, and you're advising, or even cost your happiness. In that case, I would say experience is the best teacher, but it's just me wishing that they listened.
One thing, I don't play God for nobody. I don't play God for nobody, because I'm not God. I love you but I believe that there's one who loves you more than I do.
Mm.
There's someone who loves your friend more than you do, who has the ability to stop your friend, the ability that you don't have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If he can cause a fish to swallow Jonah, who was refusing to listen to him, so that he could then change his mind and go to Nineveh, he can do anything to cause your friend. So you know what? I'll give advice, but I'm not going to be pushy about it.
That's true, though. I had to learn that the hard
Yeah.
way.
I'll give advice, I'll pray about it, and I'll just let you be. When you come back to me with the same issue, I will not say I told you so, because I
That's
don't
the
like you to
thing.
regret.
Right.
I'm just going to hold you close, encourage you,
Mm-hmm.
and say, but you know, we talked about this, right? So, okay, so what do you want to do now? And still throw it back to you to make the decision. If you're still hell bent on the road to destruction, I have one assurance: I'll pray for you. I've had friends like that who, you know, giving them well meaning advice, they went the other way, things got really bad, right? But because you pray for them, you know, because there's something about, you know, our people, sometimes people give advice from conceit, from feeling like they're better, from feeling like they know better, and they're just trying to show that. That sort of person will never pray for you. But when your advice is coming from a place of love, you know that ultimately what changes that person is your ability to go down on your knees and pray for them. It's not, you know, oh, I told you so, and then you're, you know, as trying to show like, but I told you so, I, you know better, and all of that, because you want the best for your friend.
True.
But, you know, people are caught up in emotion, especially in cases of relationship. It's never clear cut. It's never black or white. Sometimes, you know, there's years invested into something that you from the outside giving the advice are not as attached, because you have no emotions in it.
Right.
But they have emotions. They have years, they have dreams, and they may never just take your advice and do like you want them to do immediately. But then you can pray for them, that the owner of their soul, the one who owns their emotion, the one who sees and can comfort, can be there for them in ways that you cannot be.
True. Yeah. True. You know, that's, you know, what you're saying, it's so teaching and fulfilling, in the sense that I've had that experience before, where I've tried to communicate something to a friend, and the friend is just not getting it, or the friend keeps doing the same thing over and over again. I just started to pray about it, and, you know, just pray about it. And when I prayed about it, I decided not to talk to the friend about it anymore. And then I just see the friend acting in the way that God wants her to act. You know, because me talking almost sounded like a broken record, just talking and talking and talking and talking over. And I just decided, I know I wasn't going to talk again. Just pray, just pray for her, because, like you said, not playing God for people, and, you know, praying for that friend concerning, because you love her or him or her, you love him or her, and you want the best for your friend, and so you say, you know what, I'm gonna pray for you because I want the best for you. So I think that's very educative.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
On the first note of, you know, do you tell your friends everything, including when you just get into a relationship? And, you know, the house is on the fence about this. Like, I would have people who would say, yeah, I tell my friends everything. I have very good friends. There are others that would say I'm very discreet. I fall on the line of I'm very discreet. Just, that's just me. You know, I can't really say I'm that discreet because I'm trying to avoid something, I'm trying to prevent something. It's just, I'm very calculative. You know, I take my time to process things. I do a lot of, I'm not impulsive. I'm not somebody that would be, you know, I would process things a little bit and take my time in bits and pieces to share. So, either way, use wisdom as it pertains to the things that you do. And if you do have a friend, a sister, a brother, who is going in a direction that full well and square is not a good way for them, and you have done your best in advising them, I want you to do something a little different. Pray for them. I normally say that the heart of a king is in the hands of God, and God will wield that heart the way that he wants it to go. There is a God in heaven that has the ability to stop a person. If he could appear to Joseph, who had secretly made it up in his mind to divorce Mary when she said that she was pregnant, and he appeared to her and appeared to him and told him, don't divorce her because truly she's pregnant by the Holy Spirit. It was the same angel that appeared to Joseph and told Joseph, take the child to Egypt because there are people that are looking to kill the child. God has the ability. Look at the story of Haman and Mordecai. Haman, who had made the plan that same night, he was going to go to the king's palace that next morning and have Mordecai hung on the gallows that he had already built overnight. That same night, the Bible says the king could not sleep. He was like, bring the book of remembrance. He couldn't sleep. He could have done so many things. But on that night, he asked for the book of remembrance. And when he asked for the book of remembrance, it came to his attention that this man who had saved his life had not been rewarded. The same man that was purposed to be killed the next morning. And that next morning, what could have been Mordecai's obituary became his celebration. God has the ability to change a person's mind. Right. But when you find yourself over a person, you could be trying to play God, because you want the recognition to come to you. You want it to be said that it was because of you that you saved this person. You want it to be you want that glory to come to you. But when you know that this is a selfless act of love, it doesn't matter if your name is stamped on the result. The fact that you have the fact that your sister friend is not in a toxic relationship is a praise report for you, whether or not your name is on it.
Right. True.
Well, guys, hope you learned something, and we'll come back next time with another session with my sister Benjamina.